Self-representation matters. Black feminists replacing hegemonic narratives with truth. This video essay is going to briefly explore how Black feminist artists use self-expression and representation as means of 1. Expressing love for self and community, and 2. Actively subverting and replacing common narratives about Black womanhood. The art of Black feminists has the power to shift viewers' understandings of self and the systems of power we operate within on a daily basis. Black womanist, poet, and activist Audre Lorde describes the necessity of the act of creation for Black women in her 1985 piece, Poetry is Not a Luxury. She writes this about Black women's relationship with poetry and other forms of creation. It is through poetry that we give name to those ideals which are, until the poem, nameless and formless, about to be birthed but already felt. Lorde's writings depict how Black women have historically and will continue to use acts of creation to shed light on their realities that have gone previously unrepresented in history textbooks, on movie screens, and in most forms of media. Lorde elaborates on the power to be found within these acts of creation. When Black women are able to tap into their reserves of creativity and power, those fears which rule our lives and form our silences begin to lose their control over us. As we come more into touch with our own ancient non-European consciousness of living as a situation to be experienced and interacted with, we learn more and more to cherish our feelings and to respect those hidden sources of our power from where true knowledge and therefore lasting action comes. These reserves of creativity and power that Lorde discusses here are the main focus of this video. Together we will examine and attempt to unpack how the creations of Black feminist artists could shift the previously unexamined, colonized minds' understandings of the world. From practicing this Black feminist understanding, we can take meaningful actions that promote self-love and debunk hegemonic narratives written and maintained by systems of white supremacy, patriarchy, capitalism, and heterosexism. Let's start with Nikki Giovanni's 1971 song, Ego Tripping. The lyrics frame Africa as a place full of people that hold inherent worth. Centuries of colonization have allowed white supremacist narratives about the continent to take root in the Western imagination. Giovanni counters these ideas of poverty and despair by writing a glorious narrative about Mother Africa instead. I sewed diamonds in my backyard, my bowels deliver uranium. The filings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. By characterizing Africa's natural materials coveted by the Western world as merely excrements of the powerful, soulful being that is Mother Africa, Giovanni promotes self-love for African women and land, deeming worth as inherent and spiritual, countering colonial notions of material worth. Kenyan artist Wangechi Mutu collages with Western popular media to produce new images of African women that resist dominant Western popular culture, which fails to depict Black women as worthy and complex, if at all. She literally deconstructs white supremacist and patriarchal media that misrepresents and ignores Black womanhood, and then uses those materials to reconstruct new narratives that showcase nuanced and beautiful understandings of Black womanhood.
For me, every little bit of culture can be used to investigate almost any other bit of culture. So I'm sort of stirring up the image of the Black woman, and I don't often find a lot of mainstream pictures of Black women. So ironically, even though my work is obsessed with my sisters, my cousins, women I was raised with, African women, I find the ingredients of all of this work is coming from places that pay no attention to those women. So it's kind of an ironic thing in a way. I'm producing that image out of that very lack of it,
These creators, whether through song, visual art, or other means, deconstruct harmful white supremacist, capitalist, and colonialist narratives about worth and beauty. In the place of the narratives they subvert, these artists actively create new ones about the worth, creativity, beauty, and multifaceted realities of Black and African womanhood. This is why representation, and specifically self-representation, in media matters. Empowering Black feminist creators to continue making media that reshapes the way we think of Black womanhood allows us to chip away at our previously held notions about racialized and gendered characteristics in our culture, like intelligence, morality, aesthetics, cultural worth, and sexuality. Lorde said, "Poetry is the way we help give name to the nameless so it can be thought. There are no new pains. We have felt them all already. We have hidden that fact in the same place where we have hidden our power. They surface in our dreams, and it is our dreams that point the way to freedom. Those dreams are made realizable through our poems that give us the strength and courage to see, to feel, to speak, and to dare. For there are no new ideas. There are only new ways of making them felt." As a consumer of media, which narratives will you take as truth? As a creator of new ideas, which ones will you choose to put into words? Which representations will you allow to write the narratives of worth, intelligence, and beauty?